Welcome to Trainspotting. In this episode, I take a look at the history of one of the oldest underground systems in the world, the Clockwork Orange in Glasgow. I also get to see how to run coal wagons up and down 1 in 20 gradients at the Bowes Railway in Gateshead. And to celebrate the 200th anniversary of the train, Mark joins thousands of fellow revellers at Railfest in York.
For such a small island, us Brits have given the world some fantastic things, such as cricket, rugby, football, penicillin, the telephone, and the garden vac. But probably most of all, the greatest gift we have given the world are railways. So to celebrate the bicentenary of railways here in the UK, I'm at Railfest in York. Well, you're the project manager for Railfest. Where was the idea first mooted?
Well, about 18 months ago, we looked that we had this fantastic anniversary and it was going to be a golden opportunity to do something for enthusiasts and families alike and celebrate 200 years of railways. We got together, myself and my colleague Bob Gwynn, and we put together a plan and we ran it up the flagpole to see if it would fly. The head of the museum was with it, the Science Museum was with it, and we started on the road that has become what you see around you, Railfest.
Because it all started with this behind us, isn't it?
Penny Darren locomotive, yeah. Built in 1804 as the result of a bet between two ironmasters. An unpaid wager of 500 guineas. One bet that the other that they couldn't move iron by rail with a mechanical contrivance.
And this is a replica of the original, is it?
This is a replica built in Wales about 15 years ago that we've got back into running order here at the museum, especially for the festival. Obviously you can watch the Penny Darren locomotive here going up and down. Over the way, you can ride behind Rocket. It's fantastic to be able to get up to the side of these things and get the sheer scale of them. And that's one of the marvels of working in the museum. Seeing a child's face when they first see a full-size locomotive that's not in a book. Yeah, because that's the whole part, I suppose, of the festival, is getting families and everybody involved, because there's a lot of hands-on things you can do here, aren't there? Very many. The idea is we're a very hands-on museum. We don't do glass case stuff unless we have to. It means you can actually get on there and get the full experience, smell the smell, bring the atmosphere in. So here we are in the middle of the what could be the steam arena. Very much so, yeah.
How did you go about choosing which loco to have here? Because I suppose everyone's got to have something to do with 200 years of railways in the UK.
That's it. Well, it's quite an eclectic mix, but we've tried to choose exhibits that fit in with the whole story. So all the things around you have got big stories involving railway history, railway preservation, or even in some cases modern operation, steam operation, still on the railway today.
Let's start with this one then. This is Black Prince.
Black Prince, yes. Owned by David Shepherd, the famous railway artist, the man who loved giants, painted steam engines and elephants. I didn't know this was coming to the festival 4 weeks ago, and then it just happened and it turned up on the day, and here it is in steam.
And 63601?
Yeah, the Great Central Robinson 04. Freight locomotive, heavy freight locomotive, adopted by the Ministry of Defence in the First World War as the standard design for freight engines and sent all around the world. There's actually still 3 of those locomotives in preservation in Australia.
Now, quite a few of these are steamed up at the moment, but you've got one that is in fact running, haven't you?
We have. We've got City of Truro on service at the moment. Now, Truro was really the other big anniversary. It's 100 years since City of Truro reputedly did 100 miles an hour plus down Wellington Bank. So we had to have her here and in steam. And as you'll see, she'll be flying backwards and forwards on here.
With me on the footplate?
With you on the footplate if you wish, yes.
So this is it. This is your pride and joy, isn't
Absolutely,
it? This is
yes.
what you now own. How much of an achievement is it now that you own 4472?
Fantastic, because now it's safe for the nation. It can't go out of the country. It's ours. It belongs to everybody, in actual fact. And it means people can come to the National Railway Museum and see Scotsman. And we're going to use this locomotive. We've got a programme of rail tours booked for it this summer. There it is, the pinnacle of the collection, really.
Because this was like built in the heyday of steam advancement in engineering, wasn't it?
That was it. This was the forerunner of a class of locomotives that revolutionised high-speed travel on the railways.
This is probably what's going to draw a lot of people to Railfest.
It is. It's the most famous steam locomotive in the world. You ask any child if they know the name of a steam engine, and they'll say Flying Scotsman.
Say the word subway, and New York springs to mind. Talk about the tube, and it's got to be London. Mention Clockwork Orange, and you'll probably think of the classic film by Stanley Kubrick. But Clockwork Orange is also the name affectionately given to the Glasgow Underground, the 5th oldest system in the world, and I've come to find out what makes it tick. Better place to start than here at Glasgow's Museum of Transport. Amongst the fine collection of cars, buses and trains, they've rebuilt the old Merkland Street Underground station. Curator for Transport and Technology, Rowan Brown, showed me round. So Rowan, what have we got here then?
Well, this is Merkland Street Underground Station. The Underground was built in 1896, but when the Underground was refurbished in the 1970s, this station was moved brick by brick from where Partick Underground Station is now.
You mentioned it was opened in 1896. 15 stations at the start, wasn't it?
Yeah, 15 stations and 45 minutes for a route. It's a circular route with an inner and outer circle.
Now, I've seen some early advertising and it says no steam, no smoke. How do these carriages that we can see around us get around then?
Well, the organisers stipulated that they weren't even to think about steam tracked and they had to find another alternative. And Glasgow actually had the only planned cable-operated underground in the world. Powered remotely from Scotland Street, a cable that was an inch thick and weighed 57 tonnes was kept in continuous motion at 12.5 miles an hour while the system was running.
Oh, this is stunning, isn't it?
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Amazing. So these would have been the original carriages?
Yeah, I mean, you can see the mahogany and birch seating, the Wilton carpet valances with the Glasgow District Subway logo on them, and the beautiful hand-painted glass as well.
Nice
Beautifully
carriage.
fitted.
Nice carriage, but how did it get along?
Well, the area just at the back of the carriage is where the grip man operated the grip. The grip, as you can see a model of, was attached underneath the carriage. And when the grip man released the brake, it stopped its connection to the cable and the whole carriage ceased. So basically it was just a matter of attaching or disattaching from the cable, and that's what kept it in motion.
So that's why these are called grippers. They literally grip the cable and got taken along.
Yeah.
How long did this carry on for, the cable system?
Well, the cable system actually finished in 1935, but because of the economic downturn, it took a while for them to build the momentum to actually get the system electrified. But these carriages didn't become redundant. They were simply refurbished, changed into red livery, and carried on with electrification.
So the same carriages across there, but certainly the style's different in here, isn't it?
Yes, slightly more modern. Bit of a 30s feel with the leather and plain glass as opposed to the hand-painted.
And what modifications would they have had to make for the driver?
They added different switch gears and more communication material, but they didn't rip out the old features. The grip man's brake still remains.
So these carriages have certainly had lots of modifications throughout the period that they've been in service. When did they start? When did they finish?
They started in 1896,
right,
and a lot of the rolling stock ran on until 1977.
So these carriages have got a few stories to tell, and they've moved from grippers to electrification, and now sitting here in the museum.
Absolutely, they've had a few facelifts, but they're here now.
This is Partick Station, which replaced the old Merkland Street station that we've just seen at the museum. Merkland Street was about 400 yards over that way. Now though, I'm going to go off and see how the modern system works. Well, Ronnie, this is the ultimate result of modernisation. How did you get to this stage?
Well, the system was closed down in 1977 and reopened again 3 years later for passenger service. When we opened up, we had 33 powered cars with the cabs, and in 1992 we acquired a further 8 non-powered cars which look a bit more like traditional coaches. They don't have the cabs on and they sit in the middle of the trains.
And how do you get this rolling stock around the system? What do the operators do that we can see?
Yeah, well, what you can see just now is the control room with the assistant controller and the control officer. And the backdrop behind us shows a real-time information picture of what exactly is going on in the subway just now. It shows both the concentric circles, the inner and the outer going clockwise and the inner going anti-clockwise. And the orange blocks represent the station platforms. On these concentric circles there will be a red marker for each train. On the white areas there, that's where the controllers do the controlling of the trains. And by that, that's where they have the opportunity to put trains into service, take trains out of service, and maintain the headways that are required for the certain time of the day for the timetable.
And how do Glaswegians take to the Clockwork Orange?
Oh, they love it. The system really does form the basis of the culture of the city. It's a real part of the city's heritage, with it being underneath the tenement buildings, and it really does help get folk around the city, and it hits all the cultural highlights of the city too. And the fact that we can get passengers from one side of the city to the other side in 12 minutes during the peak, that's unbeatable.
From the days of the Industrial Revolution, transporting large amounts of this stuff, coal, became an important function of the railways. But here in Durham there were a large number of hills, which made it difficult to transport the coal from the mines down to the docks. So, George Stephenson, inventor of the rocket, came up with the nifty idea to overcome this. And the Bowes Railway is still testament to his ingenuity. So John, this is the Bowes Railway. What makes it so unique?
The fact it's a rope-hauled railway. The wagons here were run on ropes down to the staves of Jarrah, hauling all the coal from the various collieries here. All the coal from here went to London, so it had to be taken down to the river to the ships.
So these are the trucks, John. Where would they have come from?
These would have come from other collieries on the system, and they would have landed here as a set of 12 full wagons. These 12 wagons would have had to been reduced down to a set of 6 to go on to the next incline.
So you split them down to 6. How do you stop moving them down the line?
We just use the incline to walk them down the yard. And using a brake stick similar to this one.
That is going to stop those running away?
Hopefully.
I want to see this.
It's quite simple. You just release the brakes, and as you release them, the wagons will start rolling away down the yard.
Blimey, we're off. This looks very precarious. I mean, straight away you're in there applying the brake.
You can see how quick she's picking up
Absolutely.
speed.
We've got a
This
lot of
wagon
weight
isn't
behind us.
holding it, so we'll drop back.
Now you've got to run back one, because we need help from the second brake on the second one. Again, these things are really
Still
moving.
isn't
I guess this was a dangerous occupation, was it?
Very dangerous. Now we're bringing it under control now.
Yeah, I can see why. I wouldn't want to be at the front of that. So, John, we've walked our wagons down to here, parked them up. What happened next?
The rope would be put on the back of them. The rope comes from the big rope return wheel. It wraps around it about 3 times, and it's operated with a band brake, and it's controlled by the driver in the cabin there. When he's got the rope on, the banksman's put the rope on his back wagon. A mile down the track, another banksman's coupled up 6 empties. Full wagons will be allowed to run away and pull the empties up. When they come up here, they're transferred onto this part, which is what is known as the kip. They'll ride up over the top of the kip. When they get over here, they're running away.
Yeah.
So gravity takes hold of the wagons, the empties, and as they run away, the rope will slacken. That enables them to knock the rope off, uncouple it, and pull it out the road.
Right.
And then they just allow the empties to run under their own speed into the dish, where they're met by another banksman who will put them onto the rope from Blackham's Hill Hauler, which is a powered hauler.
It's further up the hill, isn't it? That's another
the
incline, completely
yeah, that's
separate.
the next one.
So we come from there up to here, and the next step up.
Yeah, and it's the same sort of operation, but it's a powered hauler. It's not a gravity incline.
The hauler house. I see what you mean when you said it was powered.
The hauler you see now is a 300 horsepower Vickers Metropolitan haulage engine.
Is there any chance I could have a go myself?
Yes, that's no problem.
Right.
It's an electric hauler.
Yep.
So all you need to do is engage this lever, which will engage the power to drive the motor. There we go.
And there it goes.
Just keep it at about that speed.
Amazing. That's marvellous while it's going. How do I stop the thing?
You've got a handbrake there,
Yep.
or a foot brake just beneath it. Whichever one feels more comfortable with is the one you can use.
Okay, so the sort of just ease this back, do
Just
I?
let the power off. And
There
then
it
a little
is.
bit of brake.
A little brake to aid it on its way. Well, we can see that they both work, but we can't actually get them pulling the wagons, can we?
No, it's just a lack of trained volunteers. Everything on the railway is operational, but it's unfortunate we don't have enough people to keep it all running.
So how can I have a look at what it would look like?
What I can show you down in the yard was actually shunted by ropes, and we have a small hauler in the yard where it only takes 2 people to operate.
So what are you going to do then?
We're going to drop a set of wagons down the yard and then pick another wagon up, and then we're eventually going to put the front wagon of the set into the workshop for repair.
Okay.
So we'll get on with that now. Okay! The wagons are away now.
Right. And you're controlling all of that
Just
with the
on
brake?
this foot brake here. Best you're fairly heavy like myself and all to get a bit of pressure on this brake. And there we are. So he's going to change the hook from the front to the side, and then we'll haul that into the shed. Now we're going to engage the clutch. It's just a simple dog clutch. But that engages the drum for the powered haulage.
Right.
We've got our amp meter on the wall which we watch so we don't trip it out. Okay!
Now, it is a rope railway. We don't need them anymore. Why is it so important to keep this going?
Well, it's part of the North East industrial heritage. This is the last one there is, so it must be preserved, and I believe it must be preserved in operational condition. We'll just keep it going as long as we can.
I'm at the National Railway Museum in York for Railfest, celebrating 200 years since the birth of railways in 1804. In part 1, we looked at its early development, but the exhibition doesn't just focus on the distant past. So, John, we've covered steam pretty comprehensively, but now we come to my favourite bit as well, and yours probably as well, as both children of the
like
same
diesels,
era.
yeah, I like
the
diesels,
diesels. Let's start with this Class 47, 798 Prince William. It's the Royal Train?
It's the Royal Train locomotive, yeah. It's just come out of service. English, Welsh and Scottish Railways have commissioned some new locomotives for the Royal Train, and this has now come into the National Collection. This has been donated by EWS to us, again, to keep in perpetuity for the nation.
It's beautifully turned out. What colour is that?
That's blackberry black. That's been the Royal locomotive colour and the Royal Train colour for a number of years.
Now, next to it, you've got this Romanian-built Class 56.
That's it, 56006. This, again, has been lent to us by EWS for the festival.
Because they're no longer in service, are they?
No, earlier this year, EWS decided to modernise its fleet and took these locomotives out of service.
Now, behind it, you've got one of the older class of diesels.
yes.
What, 1957 Class 20?
That's it, yeah, D8000. It's one of our working collection. It goes around a lot of railway societies, and indeed we've been using it for Railfest for setting up. About the last 3 weeks, it's been hammering up and down, putting things into place for us.
Another impressive aspect of Railfest was the large number of preservation groups and societies that have been invited to attend, bringing with them some of my favourite locos. Nigel Payne, you're the publicity director for the Deltic Preservation Society. Now, to me, you don't have to justify your reason to be here, but for the uninitiated, what was the place in the 200 years of railway history of the Deltic?
200 years, they were the first locos really to replace steam. There were a lot of other diesel locos around at the time, but Deltic's really made the big impact on replacing steam locos.
And it's been quite an honour to be part of Railfest.
Oh yes, yes indeed. We're invited right out at the inset of the event, and yeah, we're really pleased to be here.
Who has done this up? Because it's done a magnificent job on it. It looks absolutely fantastic.
It's the guides really. We've got a huge band of volunteers. They're really dedicated. They've probably put in about 200, 300 hours of work at least just to get this thing sorted.
Because it was stationed at Barrow Hill, wasn't it?
Yep.
But where's it going now?
After that, it's actually going over the road into the National Railway Museum, so we're really keen. It's going to be a really good thing for the society. We're going to be really pleased to see it there.
Ian Dobson, you're the treasurer for the EM2 Locomotive Society.
Yeah.
In the scheme of 200 years of railways in Britain, where does the EM2 fit in?
Right, it was built in 1953. It was Britain's first mainline express electric passenger locomotive that actually did what it was built to do. This was built for express passenger work, and that's just what it did between Manchester and Sheffield. 7 were built. There were 27 ordered originally, but even as these were being built, the 1500 volt DC overhead as a mainline system was on the wane, so they pruned the order down to 7.
It's very long, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, basically, it's built as a COCO, which basically means it's 3 axles on each bogie, which means it's built for speed. You know, there's none of the thrown about from side to side. It's smooth, it's powerful, you know, it's built to ride, and it's built to ride fast.
John Lusher, you work for Midland Mainline, but for the purposes of Railfest, you're the project manager for the modern arena.
Yes.
Could you run through the locos and the different trains that you have here?
Yeah, sure. We've got Virgin's Pendolino, £11 million worth of new tilting train. The record-breaking Eurostar power car.
How fast did it go?
186 miles an hour on the Channel Tunnel Rail Link Phase 1. Turbostar from Southern, launching their new brand identity here today.
Locos?
Locos, class 66 and 67 from EWS. 66-200 because it's 200 years of the railway we're celebrating.
Yeah.
Electrostar from South Eastern Trains.
So we're here today to celebrate 200 years of railways in this country. As a railway man yourself, are you optimistic about the future?
Absolutely, I think we'll be here for at least another 200 years to come. We've got schemes such as Crossrail, Channel Tunnel Rail Link, which is all leading to faster and more efficient rail network and ever-increasing passenger numbers.
So the future's bright?
The future's bright.
There were over 50 trains and locomotives at the 9-day festival in York, and it was a resounding success with over 70,000 visitors. It was also value for money and very well organised, and showed those who knock the rail industry that Britain's railways are far from dead. In fact, they're booming and looking forward to the next 200 years.
We're going to have to get the 5:16 now. I told you we needed to get here earlier.
No, you didn't.
I did. I said if we were going to get the 4:47, we needed to get a move on.
No, you didn't.
Do you know what? There's something about you recently that has really started to annoy me.
What's that?
You've always got to have the last word.
No, I don't.